He had just called fire down from heaven. One prayer, and flames fell. An entire nation watched. 450 false prophets were defeated. The people fell on their faces and cried, "The Lord, He is God!" It was the greatest public victory of Elijah's life. And within 24 hours, he ran into the wilderness, collapsed under a tree, and asked God to let him die. How does a man go from fire on a mountain to despair in the desert? This is the story of Elijah's darkest moment. Mount Carmel, the fire for 3 years. Israel had suffered drought. The prophet Elijah had declared it. King Ahab had turned the nation toward Baal worship under Queen Jezebel's influence. Altars to the Lord were broken. Prophets were hunted. Fear filled the land. Then Elijah stepped forward. On Mount Carmel, he confronted 450 prophets of Baal. He proposed a test: call on your God. I will call on mine. The God who answers by fire, He is God. From morning until noon, the prophets of Baal shouted. They danced. They cut themselves. Nothing happened. Then Elijah repaired the altar of the Lord. He poured water over the sacrifice. Once, twice, 3 times. Teneprayed, answer me, Lord, so these people will know that you are God. Immediately, fire fell from heaven. It consumed the sacrifice. The stones, the water, everything. The people fell face down. The Lord had answered. It should have been the turning point, but it wasn't. The threat, when Queen Jezebel heard what happened, she sent a message to Elisha. May the gods deal with me severely, if by this time tomorrow I do not make your life like one of them. In other words, you are dead. And suddenly, the prophet who stood before 450 men ran from one woman. Scripture says, Elijah was afraid and ran for his life. Victory had been public, but fear became personal. He left his servant. He went alone into the wilderness, the desert. After a day's journey into the desert, Elijah sat down under a broom tree. The adrenaline of Carmel had faded. The confrontation was over. The crowd was gone. The threat felt real. And Elijah prayed a prayer that shocks many readers. I have had enough. Take my life. I am no better than my ancestors. This was not anger. It was exhaustion. He felt alone. He felt hunted. He felt like nothing had truly changed. And in that moment, the prophet who called down fire wanted to die. God's response, what is remarkable, is how God responded. He did not rebuke Elijah. He did not question his faith. He let him sleep. An angel touched him and said, "Get up and eat." There was bread baked over hot coals and water. Elijah ate and slept again. The angel returned a second time. "Get up and eat, for the journey is too much for you." God addressed his physical need before anything else. Strength first, correction later. Elijah ate, and in the strength of that food, he traveled 40 days and 40 nights to Horeb, the mountain of God. The cave at Horeb, Elijah entered a cave and spent the night. And the word of the Lord came to him. "What are you doing here, Elijah?" Elijah answered honestly, "I have been very zealous for the Lord. The Israelites have rejected your covenant, torn down your altars, and put your prophets to death. I am the only one left, and now they are trying to kill me too." He felt alone. He believed he was the last faithful voice. Then the Lord said, "Go out and stand on the mountain in the presence of the Lord." A powerful wind tore through the mountains, but the Lord was not in the wind. An earthquake followed, but the Lord was not in the earthquake. 10 fire come, but the Lord was not in the fire. After the fire came a gentle whisper, a still, small voice. And Elijah covered his face. He recognized the presence of God. Not in spectacle, not in powered display, but in quiet. The correction, the Lord asked again, "What are you doing here, Elijah?" Elijah repeated his complaint. He still believed he was alone. Then God corrected him. "I reserve 7,000 in Israel, all whose knees have not bowed to Baal." Elijah was not the only one. God had been working quietly. faithfulness still existed, even when Elijah could not see it. Isolation had distorted his perspective. God restored it with truth. New assignment then, the Lord gave Elijah instructions. Go back the way you came. Anoint kings. Anoint Elisha as your successor. The mission was not over. The calling was not canceled. The story was not finished. God did not remove Elijah from service. He redirected him. Elisha left Horeb. He found Elisha. He threw his cloak over him, a symbol of calling. Elisha followed him. The prophet who felt alone now walked with a companion. Closing reflection, Elijah called down fire from heaven. But his most important encounter with God was not on Mount Carmel. It was in the whisper. Victory does not prevent exhaustion. Power does not eliminate vulnerability. Even prophets grow tired. But God meets his servants in both fire and silence. He strengthens. He corrects. He restores. And sometimes, the loudest display of God's presence is not thunder. It is a whisper that says, "You are not alone."